and welcome to this video. Hope you're all having a great time, and as you can see, this is the video 2 on the topic of marker-based augmented reality. And if you're new to this technology, we do hope that you watch this video from the part 1 onwards so that you can learn it from the basics. Also, these videos are made in collaboration between dsckiit and XoRphilic, and you can reach out to both of these communities. We'll be adding the link in the description. So, Ishika, why don't you tell them what we'll find in the previous video and in this video?
Yes, in the last video, we taught you how to capture an image target and then add an image on that image target. In this video, we will teach you how to add a video and a 3D model to the same image target. And finally, we will be completing our first marker-based application. I really hope that you have been following us from the very beginning. We started off with a live session where we talked about all the topics that we are going to cover in this series. Next, we taught you how to build a game using Unity. I really recommend you to go and watch that video to get your basics clear. Next, we dived right into augmented reality. I really hope that you stay tuned for all the upcoming videos of this series.
So, before we jump on to the content, why don't we give a brief introduction about ourselves? Hello everyone, my name is Subha and I am in my third year pursuing my undergraduate from KIIT University.
Hi everyone, I'm Ishika and I'm also pursuing my undergraduation from KIIT University and I am in my second year.
So, let's start learning.
So, let's get started with our video. We'll start on by learning how to augment a video over our image target. Before starting this in Unity, let me show you another way how to add a Vuforia package into your Unity project. I'm going to quickly jump to Vuforia portal, and in the Downloads and SDK section, you can see this option of Add Vuforia Engine to a Unity project and save it. I'm going to save it directly into my desktop itself and give it a name package for easily understanding it and save it. If you try to augment a video clip over your image target, we would recommend that you should follow this process of adding your SDK into your project. So quickly dragging this package and dropping it into your project panel and clicking on import, you can add your package into your project. It will take some time for this package to be imported into your project, but once it is done, you can click on Window and check that Vuforia configuration has been added, and right-click in the hierarchy panel and see that Vuforia engine option is now added. So, Vuforia package has been successfully added into your Unity project. Since we started off with a fresh project and a scene, to make you understand how to add the Vuforia package into your Unity project, let us again start off by adding our image target into our project. So click on Vuforia engine and add AR camera. Then select AR camera and add image target. Since your image target has not been added into your project, the one we created in the first video, it's going to by default add the default database and targets into your project. For that, change the type from image to from database, and you can see these are the default targets that have been added. Now I am going to add the image target that I created in the previous video into my project. Drag the image target and drop it into your projects panel. And imported. Once it has been imported, you can now change the database and there you go. Now your image target has again been added into your project. Before adding the video player into my over my image, I'll just quickly again add the image over my image target. Since we saw how to do this in the last video, I'm going to do it a bit too quickly, and if you want to see this in detail and a slow process, you can check that video. So I'm going to try to put my image that I want to augment over this image target perpendicularly to my image target. Let me just change the name of this plane to image for better understanding. And there you go. Now your image has been added. So let us now learn how to add a video component into our image target. So I'm going to click on image target, right click on it and add the 3D object of plane and use the shortcut key or the hotkey of R or this key to change the size of the plane to match it with my image target. Move it a bit above my plane using the W shortcut key. And for better understanding, I'm going to change the name of the plane to ground plane. Now, let's bring in the video that we want to augment on this plane that needs to be played when the image target is found. So you can either add any video clip of your choice, or you can also check the description to this video and add the video and the image that we gave in your project also. So now that my video has been dragged and dropped into my project panel, click on ground plane and click on add component in the inspector panel. Then search for video. Once you search for video, you should see the option of video player. Once it is over here, you can see that there are two ways of adding the source. That is, it can be a video clip or URL. For this one, we are going to go with a video clip and it's going to ask the option of video clip. Here, we need to enter the video clip that needs to be played. So, drag this video and drop it in the video clip option. So as you can see, this video playback has now been added in the video clip option. I also want that once this video is over, it should again start from the beginning and keep on playing in loop. So I'm going to check the option of loop. Now we need to connect this ground plane which holds this video player with the image target such that when the image target is found, it should start playing the video, and when the image target is not found, that is, when the camera is not able to detect the image target, it should either pause playing the video or stop playing it entirely. To do this, I'm going to add a C# script. So, right click on the project and then in the create, click on C# script. As you can see, the script has now been added. Here, we need to note one thing. When you are naming your script for the first time, The name of the class will also change accordingly to the name that you give over here for the first time. Let's say I'm going to give it the name MyTracker. So for the first time when the script is created, if you double click on it, the script will open. You can see that the name of the script that you gave over here has also been changed to the name of the class that you have given over here. That is MyTracker. Or if later on, if you want to change the name of the class to any other name, you will have to manually change the name of the script over here also. And this applies vice versa too. That is, if you were to change the name of the script in the Unity project, you will have to change the name of the class over here manually. It will not happen on its own. And it is important that the name of the script here and the name of the class should match so that these both can be connected. That is, the script in the Vuforia in the Unity project needs to be connected with the script that is written in the Visual Studio. Also remember to not use any keywords as the name of the script, and also that it is case sensitive. That is, if you were to change the name to capital T over here, you will also need to make sure to change the name to capital T over here. So back in my script, you can understand these basic functions that are by default present in any script by reading these comments. But since we do not require this, I'm going to remove this from our project. So for our video component, we need to add one more file, that is using Unity editor dot video. Unity engine dot video. Once this has been added, we need to add a public video player. And you can give this video player any name of your choice. I'm going to give it vid. And then we'll add two functions which will be public and void, and I'm going to name one as play and another one as pause. So when the play function is called, this video should start playing, and when the pause function is called, this video should pause. Also remember that we also have other options such as stopping or the video itself, so that when again the play function is called, it will start playing the video from the beginning. But if you call the pause function, it will pause the video, and again when the play function is called, it will continue from the place where it paused the video. Now let us understand the importance of this video player and these functions. I'm going to save the script, and back in Unity, let us understand what and how this script is useful to us. The video player component that we saw over here, now let us say I add this my tracker component to any game object, let's say to the ground plane itself. You can quickly drag it and drop it in the ground plane. So this script has been attached to this game object. So this video that we gave as the name video player, it is public in nature and therefore it is asking for a video player component. Since the ground plane itself contains the video player component, we will put that particular game object which contains the video component. So that I'm going to drag this ground plane into this video. So all the operations that we perform on this video player, that is this vid, will now be affected on this video that we entered in this video player, which is present in the ground plane itself. Now, how to call these functions? If you click on image target and in the inspector panel scroll to the bottom, you will see two functions and events. That is, one is on target found and another is on target lost. So when the on target found event is called, you can click on plus in these two. It will take two game objects. Since I want that my script needs to be used over here and I have used the script in this ground plane game object, I'm going to drag this ground plane game object and drop it over here and again over here. So this ground plane contains my tracker C# script. So this game object has been inputted over here, but no function has been selected. Now what I want is that on tracking found when this event is called, that is when the image target is found or captured or detected by your camera, I want that this function, that is the video player component, should start playing the video. So I'm going to select my tracker, which is this script which is attached in this ground plane, and then select the function play. Similarly, in this ground plane object, the script my tracker which has been added for on tracking lost, I want that it should pause the video. So, and you can change this as to tracked. So when this is tracked, these two components, that is play and pause function, will be called respectively with the respective events. You can also click and add debug.log statements, say play and pause, and when you go and enter the play mode, you can see that these statements can be observed in the console panel. So by this way you can understand when this particular function is called and when this particular function is called. So now my video player is also linked with my image target via the script. So this video player which contains this video will play according to this script which asked for a video player component to link this video player with my script, and when the image target is found to my camera, this play function will be called, and when it is lost, the pause function will be called. Let us just complete one more step That is to add our license key into our project. So jumping back to Vuforia portal and into the develop option. In the license manager, going to my license key and copying that license key and pasting it over here to link my Unity project to my Vuforia account. Also, since Vuforia uses AR camera, we do not require this main camera, so I'm going to delete it. And now we have learned how to augment an image and a video player on our image target. So we'll get back to Ishika, who will now teach us how to augment a 3D model and also teach us about asset store.
Okay, now what is left for our project to be completed is for us to add a 3D model to the project. But before we do that, I would like to talk about this asset store option that you can see up here. There are three options: the scene view, the game view, and the asset store option. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is this asset store option? Now, if you do not find it up here, you can go to Window and select it from the drop-down menu. Alternatively, you can click on CTRL and 9, which are the hotkeys to access the asset store. Once you click on it, a page similar to this one appears. Now, you will require to log in into your Unity account in order to be able to import the assets that you choose into the project. Let me go ahead and maximize this real quick for you to understand better. Now, what exactly is Unity's asset store? It is a library or a collection of textures, materials, 3D models, tutorials, and even animations. So basically, it is the one-stop solution for everything that you might need to build your project. Don't be mistaken, there are several other websites on the internet which have numerous collections and options of 3D models or textures or audios, anything that you need for your project available at free. So, why would we choose Unity's asset store? Well, this asset store is a built-in feature that Unity provides its developers with. So you don't have to go around the internet and search for the correct model. All you need to do is select the asset store, go to the search panel and type out any asset that you want to import into your project, and you will get a numerous options right in front of you without having to search a lot. So Unity's asset store is convenient, easy to use, and the assets that you choose are directly imported into the project. So for this project, we will be needing a 3D model of a car. Now, there are two kinds of assets that Unity provides us with. The one which are free, that is, do not require you to pay any sort of money, and the ones which need some amount of money. So the ones which have the free tag on them are free of cost, and the ones which have a certain amount written need you to pay some money to be able to import it into your project. Now, we would always want to work with assets which are free of cost. That is, we would like to choose the assets and textures which will be free of cost, because who wants to spend money unnecessarily when we have another choice? So we'll always want to go with assets which are free of cost, because spending money here is not really necessary. But If you are building a high-end project where you need a specific kind of asset which you are not able to find anywhere on the internet, or are not satisfied with what you're finding, or you have no other choice and you have found something that fit just right to your project in the asset store, you can choose to invest in it. That's completely your choice. But for this project, we will be using a free asset so that everybody is able to build the project. Now I have already imported this asset into my project, but I will show you how to import assets from the asset store. Here we are choosing a 3D model to be imported. You can add textures for skies, different assets, different audios, animations, anything that you need in your project from Unity's asset store. Now, as you can see, these three are faded out. This is because I have already downloaded them. So let me show you how to do that. Let's just say I wanted to import this car into my project. You can either click on Quick Look, which summarizes the crux of what this package has to offer to you. As you can see, it has 3 different car models. This is the inside and different images from different sides. And you can directly download it from here. Or you could click on it, wait for the page to open, and then download it. All you need to do is click on download, wait for it to download. Once it's downloaded, this option is going to be replaced by the import option. Next, you have to click on import, and you will find a box that pops up something like this. Next, you have to click on import and wait for a while for the asset to be imported into your project. This generally takes some time, so be patient for that. Once that's done, you close the asset store window, and I had chosen an asset provided by AsRelo. So you can see a folder that has been built in my assets folder in the project window, which matches the name of the one which I had selected. So I have a folder named AsRelo in my assets folder. I'll click on it. There are 2 folders here because I have 2 assets which I had downloaded from the same place from AsRelo. So if I go into one of the folders and click on prefabs, you can see that there are several 3D models of different cars present here. So this is the one that we imported right now. As you can see, there are 3 models just like we saw in the image, and this is the one which I had downloaded before. Now let's see how to put these assets into the scene. All you need to do is select a particular car. So if we were to select the black one, we need to drag it into the hierarchy and then double click on it to zoom in and see how it looks. Now I'm going to show you how it looks from all the sides. As you can see, it's very realistic, it's 3D, and it looks very realistic. For this project, we are building a scene where there is a road on which there is a car which appears to move. So this more or less serves the purpose of our project. Now, what if you wanted to add another car to your project? You can do that. For example, if we were to add this white car onto our project, all we need to do is drag it into the hierarchy. And you can't see it right now because both of the cars are overlapped over each other. So I'm going to move one of them. As you can see, there are two cars in our scene right now, the ones that we had chosen. You can add as many cars as you want. You can add any other asset, anything you want that you think would enhance your project. That completely depends on your creativity and the requirement of the project. For now, we will be dealing with the white car. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the black one. Now I'm going to drag the white car and make it a child of the ground plane, which is this plane. Now, this is completely personal, as in it's your choice how you wish to organize your assets in the hierarchy. And the better you name it, the better it is for you to understand, for someone else to understand, and for you to understand in the future. So, I have made the car a child of the ground plane because it is always going to be above the ground plane. One thing that you need to make sure is no matter what asset you plan to put in the project, all of those assets have to be a child of the AR camera. If the assets are not children of the AR camera, then it will not be able to be placed correctly in real time. So make sure that all of the assets are children of the AR camera. The rest order is completely your choice. Now I'm going to go ahead and resize it. As you can see, it is a little below the ground. Before doing that, I'm just going to go ahead in the inspector panel and reset the position, the rotation, and the scale. As you can see, this directly sets everything to 0 and takes it back to its original basic size and position. Now, the car is facing away from me. It's facing the other direction. I don't want that. I want the car to be facing in a particular direction. To do that, I will be using the rotate tool. Now I can go ahead and change the rotation manually to a direction that I want. Alternatively, I can go into the inspector panel and type out the rotation that I want in a particular axis. So for example, if I wanted to change the rotation in the x-axis, I would change the value of x, but that's not something we want here. Nor do we want to change the rotation of the z-axis. What we want to do is to change the direction of the y-axis. Now you can see the car is facing towards me. But if you remember, the video that we had put on the plane is of a road which moves from the left side to the right side. So the car is moving forward from this direction to this direction. Now, to create the illusion that the car is actually moving, the 3D model of the car has to be perfectly in sync with the road. For the car to be perfectly in sync or to show as if the car is moving forward, it has to face this direction. To do that, I have to change the rotation to 270. So now the car is facing to the direction that I want and everything looks fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and look from the top to see if the position of the car is correct. It more or less appears to be correct, but I'm just going to move it a little towards the center of the plane. For that, I'm using the move tool and I want it to change its position in the Z direction, as you can see. So I have done that. Now the last thing is to change the scale of the car. I don't want the car to appear too big or too small. It has to be perfectly balanced with the background and the road. To do that, I will be changing its scale. I will be making it slightly smaller using the scale tool. Now, as you were taught, if you were to drag the little white box in the center, the 3D model would change dimensions equally from all the sides. As you can see, all the axes have equal changes. But if you had to change the dimension from one axis, that is make it flatter or shorter, you have to change the scale of that particular axis. For this one, I will be changing the dimension of all the axes so that the car does not look badly structured and it is shaped correctly from all the sides. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, that looks fine. Now don't worry, you can test and retest the application again and again. So this is a trial and error method. If you think the car appears to be too big, you can go ahead and change it later. If it appears to be too small, you can change the size a little bit later and then rebuild the app. That's completely a trial and error thing, and it's completely fine if it does not appear to be correct at the first go. Now let's just see if it looks all right from all the sides. To do that, I will be using the hotkeys. As you were taught before, you need to right click on your mouse. As you can see, when I right click, the cursor turns to this eye kind of icon. Now I can either move around by moving my mouse in a particular direction, or I can use the hotkeys. That is, if I were to click Q along with a right click on the mouse, I would move down. If I click E, I'd move up. If I click A with the right click, the scene moves towards my right, and if I click on D, the scene moves towards my left. If I click on W with a right click, I zoom in into my scene, and if I click on S, I zoom out of my scene. So I'm going to zoom in and see if the car looks all right. Yes, it looks very realistic to me and it looks just fine. So that's it for this project. We have successfully built the project. We have a background image, we have a video on a plane, and we have a 3D model, everything augmented on the image target. So the plane, the image, everything is with reference to the image target that we had chosen. All that is left now is to build the application for our Android device. To do that, you need to go to the File option, select Build Settings from the drop-down menu. Now I had already changed the platform to Android when I started building the application. But by default, your system will have the platform selected as PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. But since we are building this application for a mobile device, we will have to switch to Android. All you need to do is click on Android. So initially this cube-like structure, the Unity's icon will appear on Mac, PC, and Linux option. And then when you click on Android, you will see a switch platform option here. You have to click on switch platform and wait for a while, and the Unity icon will shift to Android. Once you have done that, you have to click on the player settings option. There are some changes that we will have to do here. Now the company name will appear something like this. you need to change the company name to something of your choice. So let it be X, Y, and Z. Because keeping the company or product name as default is a very bad practice. So do change it according to your wish, which is not default. Now scroll down to other settings and you will find something known as the package name or package ID under identification. As you can see, this follows a particular format, which is com.xyz.arc. Now, what's XYZ and ARC? As you can see, it's the company name and product name that I have used up here. So, the company name and product name that you mention here has to exactly match the package name here, or you will not be able to build the application and will face numerous errors. So make sure to double check if all these names are correctly written. Now for Unity versions above 2019, when you make a change in the company name up here, for example, if I keep it as QWERTY, or you change the product name to ARCD, you will see that the company and product name in this box is automatically updated. You don't have to do anything. But for versions below 2019, you have to do this manually. So don't forget to match both of these names before you finally build the application. Once this is done, we will set the minimum API level of our application. I have set it to 7.1 because that's the API level of the mobile device that I will be using. You set it according to whichever Android version that your phone is currently working in. Now, one thing that you need to know is if you select 7.1, for example, the Android versions above 7.1 will be supported, but the ones below 7.1 will not be supported. So check the Android version of your phone and select the minimum API level according to that. The last thing that you need to do, when you open this player settings, you will see the multi-threaded rendering option checkbox is already checked in. This might cause some error in building the application. So make sure to check that off. Now, before building the app, I'd like to mention something else. If you wish to change the icon of the application, that is, when you install the app on your phone, a particular icon will appear. By default, you will see Unity's icon. If you want, you can change that icon to any texture of your choice. All you need to do is drag that texture in the assets folder and then drag it up here and you can change it to anything of your choice. And also remember the name that you're going to see under the application on your phone will be this name, the product name. So you can name it accordingly. Once all of that is set, we are going to go ahead and build our application. One last thing that you need to know is we need a proper Android SDK in order to build applications for an Android device. Now, what you need to do is go to your Unity Hub page, go to installs, select whatever Unity version that you are using. Currently, I am using Unity's 2019.3. So this is the one I am currently working in. You can see that Android build support is already installed. Now, if you do not see this Android icon already installed, you need to go to add modules up here. And from the drop down, you need to select Android build support. And you need to check both these checkboxes, Android SDK and NDK tools and OpenJDK, and then click on done. Make sure to do this. Make sure all these three boxes are checked in, or else you will not be able to build the application. Once that is done and you have checked if all of that is good and working, you can now go and build the application. Now, in case you are not able to download the Android SDK from the Add Modules section, you can also go to Google, type out download the latest Android SDK, download it manually, and then use it. If you are using the Android SDK manually, you need to go to the Edit menu, choose Preferences, go to External Tools, scroll down and select the SDK tool that you are using manually from here. As you can see, I am not using the pre-installed JDK and SDK tools from Unity. I have downloaded them manually, selected their location from up here, and then I have checked these two boxes out. So if you're facing some issue in installing the Android SDK from the Unity Hub, you can also install it manually. Okay, so we are finally set to build our application. We are going to click on build. This might take some time. And now we are going to change the file name. So the file name here is nothing but the name that you need to give for the APK that is going to be saved on your desktop. So let it be trial00, and then you can click on save. You can save it in any folder of your choice. So you then click on save and the build will start. Again, this might take some time. Remember, the more complicated your project is and the more number of components your project has, the longer it is going to take for the build to be completed. Wait for the build to be completed. Once the build is completed, the APK that you had named will be saved in the folder that you had chosen for it. Now I had saved my APK in the desktop folder. So this is my APK. All I need to do now is transfer this APK into my phone, and I can install it in my phone and run the application. So the application will appear something like this. As you can see, this is the background image that we used, this is the video that we had used, and the 3D model that we had placed on the ground. So this is how the entire project is going to turn out. You can make changes as per your wishes, change anything you like and create something of your own. So that was it for the project. So now that we have finally made our first marker-based application, let's just see the scope and application of augmented reality in the real life scenario. AR, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, is a 4.0 technology, which means that currently it is not that diverse, but it has a lot of scope in the future. It can be used in almost every sector, like the automobile, industrial training sector, smart healthcare, smart homes, and even education. In the current pandemic situation, we all have been well aware of how technologies in general can create a great difference to keep life moving and not put it in a standstill. So, technologies like AR have been already used in order to educate young children and give them a visual, real time experience and make learning more interesting than just rote learning bookish knowledge. Similarly, there are sectors like retail. I am sure all of us are well aware of the features of apps like Lenskart, which allow you to try out their products in real time using AR before you actually decide to buy them. Then there are also apps which let you place a particular furniture in a particular place of the house before you decide on investing in it, so that you can get an idea of how it's going to look when it arrives. Of course, all of these technologies are still at a very amateur stage and can be further developed to something more polished and useful. So, the future scope of AR is very, very vast, and it is constantly growing with the numerous developers who are diving into this field. AI can also be combined, like any other technology, with other technologies like Internet of Things, machine learning, etc., to create a combined product that could actually transform the way we are living our lives. It could be smart homes, smart cities, and so much more. Finally, coming to how marker based AR is changing. So in this video, we used tools like Vuforia and Unity's Asset Store. But with the development that is happening in the whole augmented reality field, these features are slowly deprecating. So in a few years or so, Vuforia is going to deprecate further, and newer, more advanced technologies are going to replace the same. It is a constantly growing process, the process of augmented reality, and there are different developers working on different features and different kind of tools that will be used in the future for creating a more realistic and fancy experience. All in all, augmented reality is by far and no doubt one of the most fascinating technologies, and we really hope that you do explore the different horizons that augmented reality has to provide. And shortly in the next coming videos, we will be coming out with different other applications of augmented reality. We will be exploring the marker-less section of augmented reality, and then we will be jumping on to the virtual reality part of this series. So do stay tuned for that, and do not forget to like this video and comment down all of your queries down below.
So, now that we had an insight into how the future of AI looks like and also its applications, before ending this video, let me show you two examples of projects that we have implemented, which will give you an idea of how you can try implementing this technology in various areas.
So, how exactly did the strikes take place? What were the units which were involved? What exactly did we hit? Take a look. Let's bring you details of the.
Viewers, for the last 12 hours, Times Now has been bringing out what we believe.
Now, India says it has conducted air raids in Pakistan-administered Kashmir in a major...
Viewers, for the last...
So how exactly did the strikes take place? What were the units which were involved? What exactly did we hit?
So now that we have learned how to implement marker-based augmented reality, all you are left to do is to use your imagination and create projects. And you can create wonders. Again, thank you for watching this video. Do like it and share it. And as we mentioned before, you can reach out to us from the links that we have provided in the description. And do give your valuable feedback over there.